My beloved child, the night began with a silence that felt almost too perfect, a silence that wrapped itself around the walls of your home like a soft blanket hiding a storm beneath it. In that silence, something was already moving, something was already spreading, something was already preparing to rise from the shadows and reveal a truth that would freeze anyone who heard it. You had no idea that the air inside your own home was holding its breath, waiting for the exact moment when everything would shatter. The suspense was already alive. It watched you. It followed you. It escaped every corner with a quiet hunger that grew stronger each second. It hovered around like a warning you could not hear but could feel. Something in your home had already been planted long before you even imagined danger existed. There was a vibration in the atmosphere, a tension crawling under the lights, a quiet hum from the walls that felt like a heartbeat slowing down before a storm. The energy inside your home did not belong to peace. It belonged to exposure. It belonged to a secret that had already begun merging with the night. Unknown to you, the device hidden in a place no human eyes could naturally catch had already awakened. Its tiny lens glowed for a fragment of a second like a cold whisper. That lens was staring into your life. That lens was capturing every breath. That lens was recording without mercy. And while you moved from one room to another with no idea of the monstrous betrayal breathing inside your own walls, something far outside your home was preparing to erupt. In another part of the world, someone pressed a button. Someone uploaded the footage. Someone unleashed it into the digital world like releasing a trapped ghost. The footage did not crawl. It exploded. It traveled faster than wind. It spread like wildfire through screens and timelines and anonymous hands holding devices in the dark of their own rooms. The footage became a storm with no face and no direction. It became viral. It became unstoppable. It became a shadow that carried your life across millions of eyes without your permission. And the world began to whisper. The world began to react. The world began to share. Every passing moment, the footage pushed itself into new corners of the internet. The momentum built like waves crashing into each other endlessly. And while all that was happening, you breathed without knowing your life had already become a spectacle. My beloved child, the one who planted the hidden camera had no mercy in their heartbeat. They moved through your memories like a thief taking what never belonged to them. They learned your routines. They observed your body language. They watched your vulnerabilities. They captured moments that should have belonged only to you. They admired the power they had gained by simply observing you without knowledge. They cultivated a hunger for control. But what they did not know was that the consequences of their betrayal had already begun growing like roots under the ground. What they wanted was power, what they wanted was control, what they wanted was the advantage to use your life as currency. But what they would receive instead would crush the entire structure they tried to build around your downfall. The moment the footage went viral, something else also activated in the unseen world. A shift. A movement. A reversal. A force connected to your destiny began to rise. The 333 blessing awakened for the first time that night. It gathered around you like a shield preparing to break the curse that someone tried to place upon you. That force moved through every angle of your life, every breath you took, every corner of your home that had been tainted by eyes that never deserved access to you. It circled you like a guardian, rising slowly, silently, powerfully. The blessing knew that what was happening would change the direction of your life forever. It prepared its strength for the battle that would soon unfold. The person who installed the hidden camera was not prepared for the intensity of what they triggered. They thought they planted something small. They thought they planted something that would remain under their control. They believed that the footage would give them dominance. They believed it would give them leverage. They believed it would give them the power to manipulate your peace. But every seed planted in darkness eventually burns under the light. And the light was already forming, rising, glowing, waiting for the moment to explode. They did not realize that their actions had set off a chain reaction that would not only expose them but destroy every false foundation they tried to build in secret. Meanwhile, another energy entered your home, an invisible force guiding you, showing you, preparing you. You felt an inner pull, a strange heaviness in your chest, a shift in the temperature around you. You sensed something changing without knowing what it was. Your steps became slower, your breaths became deeper, and your intuition tried to warn you through the silence that felt too still. The room you entered felt slightly colder, as though something had recently moved through it. The objects on your table looked untouched but carried a presence that wasn't yours. And while your mind brushed off the feeling, your soul held on to it. Something inside you knew something had already begun. Blessing 333 expanded its light further, pushing against the darkness like a steady flame refusing to die. You were being prepared. You were being positioned. You were being protected from something that was about to explode into the surface of your life. Every moment you lived unknowingly carried the presence of an approaching revelation. Something enormous was coming. Something that would change how you viewed yourself, your surroundings, your relationships, your safety, and your destiny. My beloved child, outside your home, the world was buzzing with your name. The footage was spreading like wildfire with no signs of slowing. People whispered in private chats. People reacted with surprise. People shared your images. People clicked, tapped, forwarded, repeated. Your life became a magnet pulling strangers into your personal space without permission. The viral storm grew more violent each passing hour. And while this digital chaos expanded, one person was losing control. The person who planted the camera. They watched the views climb. They watched the comments overflow. They watched the numbers rise. But instead of the satisfaction they expected, their heartbeat began tightening. Their breath became uneasy. Their palms turned cold. Their plan had already slipped from their hands. What started as their control had turned into something uncontrollable. Something beyond their calculations. Something bigger than their desire for power. The world saw more than they ever intended, and now the shadow they placed on your life was beginning to backfire. Your destiny began to shift. The tables began to turn. The cosmic alignment around you grew brighter. Another wave of blessing, the second 333 blessing, awakened. It wrapped itself around your future like a glowing promise. That blessing did not come softly. It came with the force of a storm clearing a path, burning every dark intention that touched your life. The energy around you grew stronger with each passing minute. Your spiritual shields rose like walls. Your protection thickened like armor. And the universe began to move circumstances in your favor without you knowing. At the same time, the one who planted the camera began losing their grip on their own life. People close to them started questioning their sudden anxiety. Their digital patterns started showing inconsistencies. Their face began losing its calm. Their nervousness became visible. Their heart felt the impact of their own actions returning to them like a wave of consequences. They felt a shift in their surroundings, as if something bigger, something stronger, something unstoppable had begun chasing their intentions. This energy of exposure grew behind them like a shadow preparing to strike. They felt it in their bones. They felt it in their thoughts. They felt it in their heartbeat. And before long, the digital world began detecting traces of their identity. Their fingerprints on the footage upload. Their device activity. Their timestamps. Their shadows on the metadata. Their trail was becoming visible. The very system they used to betray you was now turning against them. And they sensed it. They felt the ground under them shake. My beloved child, while all this unfolded, a calmness entered your home. Not peace, but the calm before revelation. You felt a sudden pull in your spirit. You felt like something was calling out to you without sound. Something was touching the edges of your awareness. Something was trying to guide your steps gently as if warning you without scaring you. The lights felt different. The shadows felt thicker. The air felt heavier. But inside this atmosphere, you stood still, without knowing the universe was aligning itself around you with sharp intention. You would soon know the truth. You would soon understand the betrayal. You would soon see the face behind the camera. You would soon witness the collapse of the one who planted it. You would soon rise in ways even you never expected. A third wave of blessing, the final 333 light, activated at this moment. It poured like warm energy over your destiny. It touched your name with protection. It touched your path with strength. It touched your future with unstoppable elevation. This blessing ensured that what was meant to break you would become the very reason you rise to a level no one predicted. And the one who planted the camera. Their downfall had already begun. They would be exposed. They would collapse under the weight of their own intentions. They would face justice. They would be stripped of every plan they built against you. They tried to use your life, but their own life would crumble. They tried to capture your privacy, but their own truth would be revealed. They tried to rise over you, but they would fall deeper than they imagined. Your blessing was stronger. Your protection was higher. Your destiny was untouched. Something huge is waiting for you. And this is only the beginning. My beloved child, the night began to thicken with an unusual density, as though every molecule in the air was working to carry the next revelation toward you. A vibration rose from the ground beneath your home, a subtle pulse that seemed to spread through the walls, sliding quietly beneath the floors, touching the corners that once knew nothing but ordinary silence. The energy surrounding your space did not belong to fear. It belonged to something enormous preparing to collide with your existence. It flowed like a silent river of inevitability, bringing with it the weight of a truth that was about to unfold in a way that no one could control. Even the shadows in your home seemed to stand upright, as if witnessing the arrival of something too powerful to ignore. Far away, the digital world refused to rest. Notifications exploded on millions of screens. The footage of your private moments continued spreading with unstoppable momentum. Every click carried its own storm. Every view added pressure to the cycle of exposure. Every share extended the reach of a betrayal that had already spiraled far beyond what the person responsible ever imagined. People from different corners of the world stared at your life, reacted to your movements, analyzed scenes they had no right to see. And while the viral chaos continued its uncontrollable expansion, a new force rose behind it, one that would eventually collide with the truth like a meteor hitting the ground. The person who installed the hidden camera watched all of this with a mixture of excitement, fear, and widening horror. Their initial thrill dissolved into anxiety that tasted metallic on their tongue. The rapid growth of the video terrified them. They began refreshing the page repeatedly, hoping the numbers would slow down, but the rise only accelerated. Their breathing turned uneven. Their pulse turned restless. Their thoughts became heavy. They sensed something shifting behind the scenes, something invisible but ruthless. The digital storm they released was now out of their control, and it was approaching them like a predator tracing its own hunter. Within your home, your spirit began absorbing a new level of awareness. You sensed something brewing inside the silence, something that tugged at your intuition like a soft hand pulling you toward revelation. You felt pressure behind your temples, as though your mind was preparing itself to receive information that would shake the foundation of your understanding. The objects in your room felt slightly displaced, even though nothing had physically moved. The light seemed dimmer, the air slightly colder. It wasn't an ordinary night anymore. It was a night shaped by destiny, unfolding in layers only your soul could interpret. The universe began aligning threads, weaving events together across distance, connecting dots that were never meant to remain apart. Every vibration of energy around you grew heavier, thicker, sharper. Every breath you took carried a weight that had not existed an hour earlier. You were standing in the middle of a collision between exposure and elevation. And the unseen forces guarding your path began rising higher than before, forming protective circles you could not see, but you could feel deep in the core of your being. A sudden shift in the atmosphere clicked into place the way a key fits into a final lock. Someone far away, someone you did not suspect yet, was drawing closer to the truth. They had seen the viral footage. They had recognized something that no one else noticed. They had made a decision that would change the entire direction of what was happening. Their actions began forming ripples across the digital world, traveling from device to device, from server to server, until the information they carried started inching its way toward you. It was only a matter of time before everything burst into the open. My beloved child, the hidden camera was not just planted with intention, it was planted with obsession. The person behind it watched you like someone studying a puzzle they believed only they could solve. They followed your life with unhealthy dedication. They monitored your routines with silent hunger. They waited for a moment to break into your privacy, not to harm you physically, but to gain control, to gain satisfaction, to gain a sense of power they failed to have in their own existence. Their motives were twisted, but their downfall was already blooming beneath their feet. Their identity began cracking under the pressure of their own fear. The more viral the footage became, the more the universe turned its gaze toward them with sharp precision. Their devices began glitching. Their notifications grew overwhelming. Their mind felt the weight of consequences they tried to avoid. Every step they took echoed with the sound of exposure walking behind them. Their friends began noticing their sudden change. Their environment began shifting. Their life began falling out of its usual rhythm. And somewhere between their fear and desperation, the layer of protection around you grew even stronger. The blessing that had already been activated did not remain silent. It expanded through the unseen realms, touching timelines, bending energy, shifting outcomes. It protected your name like a throne covered in light. It covered your destiny with an invisible shield. It made sure that every force rising against you would collapse before reaching your doorstep. You were being positioned for a reversal that would push you into a place of strength no one predicted. Outside, the digital noise reached a fever pitch. Influencers started reacting. Pages began reposting. Blogs began discussing. Algorithms began pushing. Your name became a magnet. The viral storm refused to calm down. But beneath that noise, deeper in the folds of the digital world, something started circling, information that would soon unravel the truth behind the footage. Someone found a trace. Someone found a clue. Someone located a fingerprint in the digital archive. The first thread of exposure had been pulled, and the entire knot was about to unravel. Far away, the person responsible froze as their notification screen shifted unexpectedly. Their eyes widened. Their chest tightened. Their breathing halted. They stared at what had just appeared, a sign that their actions were no longer hidden. A sign that someone had noticed something they shouldn't have. A sign that fate was already turning against them with full force. They felt their reality collapsing like a stack of fragile pieces falling down one by one. A quiet storm settled around them. Their room darkened. Their heartbeat trembled. Their thoughts spiraled. Their confidence evaporated. And as fear consumed them, the truth began pressing its way through every crack they tried to seal. My beloved child, while they spiraled into panic, something inside you began awakening. A pulse. A recognition. A silent whisper rising from the depths of your intuition. The energy in your home shifted again. The air thickened with revelation. You felt a pull that you couldn't name but could deeply sense. Your steps became deliberate. Your focus sharpened. Your essence aligned with something enormous, something inevitable, something that would rise through the quiet like a thunderbolt splitting the sky. The betrayal planted in your home was about to flip into justice. The deception used against you was about to become the reason for their downfall. The exposure you never asked for was about to build the foundation of your elevation. Their identity would not remain hidden. Their secrets would not survive. Their intentions would not prevail. The universe had already declared the outcome. The one who planted the hidden camera would break down under the weight of their own actions. They would face the consequences of every move they made. They would watch their own life fold in ways they never expected. What they attempted to use against you would destroy them from the inside. And you You were rising. You were protected. You were untouchable. The storm was shifting in your favor. The narrative was redirecting toward justice. The energy was aligning with destiny. Everything was unfolding exactly as it needed to. Something huge is still waiting for you. And it is approaching fast. My beloved child, the energy around your destiny thickened like smoke gathering before an explosion. The universe was no longer whispering, it was shifting entire layers of reality around you with a silent but unstoppable force. Inside your home, the air began vibrating with a heaviness that felt ancient, powerful, and precise. The walls that once held ordinary memories now carried something else, a rising truth, a living storm, a revelation that had been waiting too long to be seen. The hidden camera that had silently invaded your space had awakened a sequence of events that no one, not even its installer, could contain anymore. The digital world kept spinning with violent momentum. Your footage became a wildfire that refused to weaken. It moved through timelines with astonishing speed, smashing through algorithm barriers, climbing trending lists, flooding comment sections, overwhelming devices, and pulling attention from people who were not even searching for it. The viral wave grew like a creature feeding on itself, expanding and mutating through the hands of millions. It spread in silence and noise at the same time. It became a storm with no face, no name, only speed and force. But behind that storm, deeper in the unseen layers of energy, something else expanded, the force of karmic reversal. A force older than betrayal. A force more powerful than exposure. A force that moved with intention, precision, and justice. It wrapped around your existence like a tidal wave rising under the moon. It carried with it the echoes of everything you survived, everything you endured, everything you overcame quietly without anyone knowing. That energy pushed forward like a guardian made of fire and patience. In another room far away, the person who planted the camera could feel this force approaching even though they did not understand it. They sat with their back tense, their breathing shallow, their eyes glued to their screen. Their entire body trembled as if a cold wind was entering their bones. Fear pressed against their chest like an invisible weight. They blinked rapidly, trying to calm themselves, but the atmosphere surrounding them did not allow peace. It was as though the universe itself had entered their space to confront them silently. Their hands shook. Their pulse stumbled. Their thoughts became frantic. The footage they uploaded was destroying their own stability. The comments dissecting the footage made them feel watched. The notifications made them feel hunted. The speed of the viral spread made them feel cornered. Every new share felt like a knife cutting deeper into their own security. They began regretting the moment they installed the camera. They regretted the moment they touched your life without permission. They regretted every second they spent plotting against you. But regret arrived too late. The universe was already correcting the imbalance. And while their mind fractured under the pressure, a powerful shift occurred inside your home. My beloved child, you felt something new moving through the air, a presence that wrapped itself around you like an unseen shield. It was not fear. It was not confusion. It was recognition. A deep recognition. A feeling that the truth was no longer hiding. A feeling that something in the atmosphere was preparing you for the moment the mask would fall. You could sense movement inside the silence. You could sense energy gathering above your roof. You could sense that destiny was rearranging itself with the force of a storm preparing to break open. You felt a sudden pull inside your chest, a pull that connected you to the truth that was rising. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was steady, rhythmic, undeniable. Your spirit felt the weight of the unfolding reveal before your mind could understand it. The universe does not approach loudly when justice is coming. It approaches like a wave of light, slow at first, unstoppable in the end. Blessing 333 moved again. Its light expanded. Its force deepened. Its presence circled you like a golden current building pressure. This blessing layered your path with protection against every ripple of negativity crawling through the digital storm. It shielded your name from the harm intended by the person who tried to expose you. It took the viral chaos and turned it into a weapon that would eventually strike the one who created it. Far from you, the person responsible felt another surge of panic. Their surroundings began betraying them. Their devices glitched. Their notifications grew more aggressive. Their account showed signs of tracking. Their digital footprint began exposing itself without warning. The walls of their safe space started closing in. They felt trapped in their own creation. They tried disconnecting, but the universe had already connected every thread of consequence around them. As they attempted to escape the growing panic, a ripple moved through the digital world, a ripple that carried the first tangible trace of their identity. Someone had found a link. Someone had seen a pattern. Someone had connected a detail. The revelation began at that moment. Quiet. Small. Invisible to the world. But powerful enough to shatter everything around them. And still, they did not realize that their downfall was now unavoidable. My beloved child, your intuition grew sharper. Your awareness heightened. Your senses awakened. Even the silence inside your home felt more alive, as if every molecule of air was holding a secret that was about to burst open. Your breath deepened. Your heartbeat steadied. Your energy aligned with the unseen forces guiding you. You were entering a phase where truth would not just come. Truth would break the walls, shake the ground, and rewrite the direction of your entire journey. The universe prepared you for this moment long before you knew it was coming. Outside, the viral storm reached its peak. The chaos grew louder. The comments multiplied. The views skyrocketed. The reach expanded. But beneath all of that noise, the truth was forming like thunder behind a curtain. Someone began piecing things together. Someone close to the digital trail recognized something. Someone followed the origin of the upload. Someone traced the shadows behind the footage. And slowly, they approached the identity of the person responsible. The person who planted the camera felt their stomach twist violently. They felt a cold sweat form behind their neck. They felt the walls closing in. Their hands collapsed into fists. They tried to convince themselves that they were safe. But their intuition knew otherwise. Their intuition felt the weight of justice approaching like footsteps echoing through an empty hallway. They could not run from this. They could not hide from this. They could not erase what they did. Their life began unraveling. Their stability cracked. Their confidence collapsed. Their secrets leaked. They felt the karmic tide dragging them with unstoppable force. And while they spiraled into fear, something miraculous unfolded around you. The blessing deepened. Your aura strengthened. Your protection intensified. Your destiny rose higher. The universe prepared your path for elevation. The storm designed to break you would lift you. The betrayal meant to weaken you would empower you. The exposure meant to shame you would shape your breakthrough. Everything was shifting in your favor. The one who planted the camera. Their identity was now moments away from cracking open. Their face would soon be revealed. Their intentions would soon collapse. Their actions would soon chase them with consequences they could not escape. You were stepping into a phase where your enemies would fall without you lifting a finger. You were stepping into a moment where the universe itself would fight your battles. You were stepping into a destiny where light would rise through every shadow cast upon you. The storm was not against you. It was clearing the path for something greater. Something huge is still approaching you. Larger than the exposure. Stronger than the viral chaos. More powerful than the betrayal. The story is not done. The rise is only beginning.